Serious and more. He just went live on Twitch.
You butchered that name more than anyone.
It's not Cyrus.
It's Cyrus Amory.
It's not Cyrus. Amory, okay. Amory, sure. Cyrus, no. You want it to be Cyrus? You take that fucking second I out.
More than anyone.
The I is not silent. It cannot be
It's Cyrus
silent.
Amory. All right, League of Sips, SIPcast number 4.
Yeah, it's
It's like 3 weeks past due.
going down in flames, ladies and gentlemen.
Going down in flames. Our fucking friend. You see that picture of Specs? I want a stupid, like a dumber looking picture.
We need a worse picture of Jeff. That's what he gets for being a fucking bitch.
God damn it.
I was like, I was looking through. I've been getting into Twitch a little more lately, and I was just like scrolling through some of the channels. God damn it! It was. I just happened to go through, and there was one that had like 2,500 people watching, and it was just a fucking girl dancing.
Mm.
It said like high level GTA heist on it. It's like no gameplay, none.
Have you heard about that app called Periscope? I'm not sure if it's on Android.
No, I haven't heard about that.
It's a live streaming app, and so you can you just take your phone and you just it just streams from the camera. And so when I first heard about it, I was like, this is awesome, because I was thinking
Twitch.
No, it's just you have to have the Periscope app, and it goes through Twitter. And so when you go live, it's like someone so and so is live on Periscope, and so you just open up the Periscope app and you can watch. But anyway, I was like, this is gonna be awesome, because I was thinking of if we had this in Ferguson to be able to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like sporting events, like big concerts, like Coachella or something like that. I was like, this is gonna be this could revolutionize social media and social stuff. The day one, I didn't even think about it. Day one, I downloaded it. The top people that had the most viewers, it was just women. No, it was just women, just ass and just women. And I was like, of course, it's the internet.
Just a bunch of men in a circle just knocking it out with each other.
I mean, I have found some other good ones, like SportsCenter does some, and those are pretty good. And the other day, I actually did my first one. My sister was playing GTA on my computer, and she was playing GTA online. And
I heard about a fiasco with your sister.
Yeah, dude. Beside that, she was she got in a car wreck, and bruised up her car, and she was bleeding and stuff. And she was like, "Well, I got to go back to her house or her apartment." And I started live streaming. And I had 50 viewers, which I thought was pretty awesome. And she was just like, I got to get back to my apartment to take a shower because I look like shit. And I was like, do you not want to go shoot some people, go do something? She was like, no, I just want to walk around. That's how she plays GTA.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess. She spent $200,000 of my money on an apartment and a car, and she doesn't do anything.
She was basically playing The Sims at that point.
Yeah. And then she bought Sims 4 on her EA account. Yeah.
Hey, you might want to change the thing to Gaming Talk Show instead of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
Oh, is that still on there?
Yeah. People will be very disappointed coming here for MLG Diablo 3 tactics. Although I am going to talk about Diablo 3.
Oh, yeah. I thought I changed that though, but I'll go back and...
No. At least I'll refresh the stream, but it says Diablo 3 on mine. No, it says nothing.
Yeah. All right. So, but what's the? Oh yeah, I thought I changed that though, but I'll go. Is it Gaming Talk Show?
Gaming Talk Show. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what all the podcasts go under.
I didn't even know they had that option.
Mm-hmm.
All right, got that one viewer. Appreciate it, Zeusbag.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Anytime. That's what all the podcasts go under.
Okay, well, anecdotes aside,
Mhm.
let's got that one viewer. Appreciate it. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to bring up first? We have a bunch of stuff, but like I got a cold hour starting now. I meant to set the timer. So right now, because I don't want to go over an hour, and I just feel like most people are not going to watch the whole thing anyway. And so we got
Well,
one hour.
I think it's appropriate to get the obligatory Destiny haterade out at the beginning, since it's not a SIPcast if we don't
Dude,
talk shit about
dude,
Destiny.
let's do it because okay.
And,
You,
and I've actually heard people are actually excited for
well, okay.
Destiny.
So yesterday they had their little event on Twitch where they talked about the new expansion, and like something that all Destiny players wanted to hear about was the upgrade pass for gear and weapons. And so I watched the live stream, and I came away like surprised and like I'm like decently excited about the new expansion. However, I want to bring the question to you, which all Destiny players is going to ask. And I want to hear your thoughts as a non-Destiny player and as a past WoW player. This expansion will have no raid, and so I bought the double expansion pack, $35 for 2 expansions, and I brought up the thing and it said with new raids is in plural, and we only got one raid and it was a shitty raid.
Yeah.
So from that to me, I don't know, that kind of pissed me off because that is like the in game content. Like that's the reason to play the game is to do the raids. And so,
Yeah, it's just weird because, like, yeah, if WoW had an expansion with, or any like MMO had an expansion and they didn't have new raids, like people would be like, "What the fuck? This is ridiculous." But at the same time, Destiny, while it's got the pseudo MMO feel, even though I haven't played the game, it's because it's a free online game quotes. They're releasing these regular expansions to compensate for not having a sub fee. From what I've seen, like this just looks like a big patch to me, not an
yeah,
expansion.
it is. I think if they
It,
phrased
it
it,
it sounds like good stuff overall, and it sounds like there's a lot of positive. Like this is stuff people have been wanting, but it's also like this sounds like a major patch update, not like a traditional
yeah,
expansion.
I think if they called it DLC, I think it would be a lot better. Just because expansion does have this like connotation where it's like a lot of new material,
Yeah.
and we'll get the obligatory 3 to 4 story missions where it's going to be shit. I'm pretty sure. And so like what you're paying for in this raid is obviously new exotics, which is their like best gear and weapons, and uh, the Trials of Osiris and the Prison of Elders. And one of those, I'm 100% certain, is going to be a Horde mode, which this game, and I've said since I bought it back in October, desperately
Yeah.
needs.
That would be cool to have, I
But
think.
to charge $17.50 for a Horde mode, which should be in the game probably day one, I just think I'm excited for it. But I do feel a little like, I think I need more for my money here.
Yeah, I mean it really just feels like you're paying for like patch updates
Yeah.
in a way, which is it's a very weird model that they're pushing.
And
Uh,
this horde mode, it does sound really cool. It's not a 6 player activity; it's a 3 player activity where the raids are 6 players. I don't know if you knew that. And so this is going to
hmm.
be a 3 player activity. And I guess what I wanted to ask you was, they said that they're going to come out with a raid, another the raid. I don't know what wording they used, but another raid this year, which we all know Destiny 2 or whatever we want to call it is coming out in the fall. Do they owe Destiny players a free raid?
I if they I mean, if they had, and again, I don't play the game, so I don't know like where I would feel like I was getting my value for my money. But I feel like if since they are coming out with an expansion that's not going to have like a big raid in it. I think patching in one would be a nice, like, here you go, people. Because, designing raids is hard. It's not something you can just do in a month if you want to make a good one, and it sounds like the last one was not good. So, it's a hard thing to do. So if they can't keep up with the cycles they're trying to put expansions out, I can understand that. But yeah, I think they should definitely release one for free. It's just like an update or something.
I think that would be a nice gesture, but it's Activision, so
I'm really curious to see what the numbers in that game is currently. Like how
like
many active, like what their active players per month is right now.
yeah,
I'm sure it will spike back up when House of Wolves comes out or whatever it's called.
But actually,
But
if you go through like the trophies, like PlayStation's achievement like thing equivalent, it says only 6% have completed a raid. And I know that includes all the beta keys that went out, all the press copies that went out, and
that's
so
still really
it's
low.
it's how low. Yeah, that's super low.
Especially for a raid that at this point, I mean, I assume you can probably stomp that first raid.
Well, no, the first raid is actually so like they're the
Is
way
it
they're
still challenging?
yeah, because the way their
Okay.
algorithms work is that so like that raid is a level 26 raid and 28 for hard mode. Right? Yeah, I think so, or 28 and 30. I think it's 26 and 28. But just because like the highest cap is 32, and so like the damage you deal if you're 3 levels above an enemy, it has no bearing. So like if you're 32 shooting a 28 enemy, you're not going to do more damage than a 30. And that's the
Well,
whole
what
thing.
about so not even like the new gear you got from the last expansion makes it easier?
No, because the
I
way
heard a lot of bitching about how when the new expansion came out, it like basically like completely like ruined all the gear you had grinded for.
yeah, and so
That's weird to hear that it ruined the gear you had, but the new gear you got didn't make the old stuff
well
easier.
yeah, you had to have the new gear to play the new raid on their hard mode.
Mm.
And so but like just because you're max level with new raid gear doesn't make it any easier to go back to the old raid, which I like because VOG, it's called Vault of Glass. That raid is actually really fun, really challenging. To speed run that raid, it'd take about 45 minutes, which is still laughable, I'm sure, to you, but it's still challenging. The mechanics are still there. Like you have to know what you're doing. You have to have a good raid group. Where this new one, it's called Crota's End. I stomped and speed ran it uh, yesterday in
Mm.
17 or like 18 minutes. I completed the whole raid, boom, start to finish in like 18 to 20 minutes. And like it's super easy. It's just not. There's no mechanics. There's nothing to do.
Just having two raids in a game that old is also kind of like a slap in the face. I mean, again, like obviously, like only 6% of people on PS4 have completed the Vault of Glass, which is like a super low number. But I mean, shit, like two raids. That's so little in-game content
Yeah.
if you don't want a PvP. Like if all you want to do is raid, that's nothing.
Yeah, and they had and like in their defense, they have a weekly content which is the Nightfall, which they do like these special modifiers
Mm-hmm.
for strikes, which are mini raids, and so like that's every week, and sometimes you get some pretty good rewards from that, and so like there is other in game content because they have the Iron Banner as well, which is like PvP without any restrictions.
Yeah.
There's no, and so like, but with House of Wolves, what I'm trying to get to is that there's going to be more in-game content. There's going to be more stuff to do on the weekly refreshes, which is all good. The way they did the upgrades is going to be way better than how they handled it in the first expansion. So, and I browsed Reddit a good bit today and yesterday, and everyone seemed genuinely like pleased with
Yeah.
with what they're doing. So it's good to see, and I'm sure they probably wrapped this up for the most part probably a month ago because they're working on Destiny 2 now. Like that's what they're doing. And so it's good to see that they actually listen to the community. They make some small changes, here and there, which nothing major, but it's good to see that it's going to be decent again.
So is this the last expansion until?
Yeah, but that's coming out
Destiny 2?
Yeah, September or October, somewhere around there.
It's still a long time.
Yeah, but
considering, I mean,
yeah. Well, because like if you go to Reddit, which I go to a lot, there's these people that come in and like, hey, this is how you get ready for House of Wolves, and like if you look at that stuff, it's like these people are hoarding like all this stuff that you can do, and then people are like, you're going to be done with all that content in a week because it's just a way to like it's a way to hoard all these materials and XP packages. So when you get these new weapons or gear, you can like fully upgrade them like super quick. And it's just like you're literally going to be done with that expansion in a week because you're just hoarding all this like stuff right now. And so there are going to be some people that just have nothing to do. But what I've always said is there's other games I want to play. And so I know it's not a subscription based, and so I don't have to pay $10 to $15 a month to keep playing. So like once I do get my feel, then I can go and play other games, which I'm gonna do. And so
I just think they should like literally wholesale steal rifts from Diablo.
Dude, I was actually thinking the other day. I was like,
steal that.
I was like, how could they implement seasons where like you have to redo a new character? And I was trying to think of like how they could like revamp it up. And like rifts was something I was like, they just drop you in this like on this planet and you have to go do stuff. And then once you kill a certain many enemies, a major boss spawns. I was just like, this game could benefit tremendously from what Diablo has done in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I really think they should totally. Me personally, we've made this comparison so many times. Like, I look at Destiny and I see Diablo 3 when it launched. It was a game that didn't know what it wanted to be, and it tried to be too many things without like being very good at one thing. And if you're gonna be a loot hunting, grinding game, that needs to be the focus. And I just don't think Destiny has gotten that yet. And it sounds like they're getting better, but they should like really just focus on like making that grind as enjoyable as possible, trying to find that gear and having a weekly lockout on raids. While that's the traditional like MMO thing, there's a lot of shit to do in an MMO besides that, and there's a lot of ways to get gear beyond just doing like the top level raids and those things. And I think it's some sort of like bastardized version of the Diablo 3 rifts would probably be pretty fucking awesome. If they were to put rifts in that game or something similar to it, I would really want it to come out on PC at that point.
It's coming out on PC for sure. And that would be cool. And I just like the whole this is loot driven. This is a loot driven game like Diablo, but there's not enough loot.
That as well. That again, like you're gonna have a loot driven game and not have loot. That's a problem.
Actually, just thinking like it could be really cool if they have like set pieces and stuff like that, and like set bonuses, like set perks. That would be really cool. Because there's the lore in the game.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, armor doesn't really have any. Does armor have value in that game, or is it just cosmetic?
No, it has like a tremendous because that's where you get your like light level, and so yeah.
I didn't know if they had like actual like stats for like damage and stuff, but
yeah, I mean it's mostly your defense, and then which your defense is a proponent of your offense because the higher the level, the more damage you do. So, but yeah.
But even then, the set bonus, like unique set bonuses, would be cool because they had a whole new wrinkle to the game.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool, and like this game, like one like major complaint, and I'm one of those people, is like if you're max level, you look exactly the same as everyone else in the game.
That's a huge problem. That's a
And,
that's a huge problem.
yeah, and so with the new expansion, I think there's going to be now a lot of variety with like 3 to 4 ways to get to max level, and so
Mm.
like they're still not introducing transmogrification, but yeah, still.
I mean, I don't know how hard it is to put a system like that in place, but I mean,
Well, actually, I did hear
you gotta put it in.
one reason why this maybe would not work is like especially in PvP, if someone is wearing a certain type of gear and you play the game enough, yeah, I mean, this is a prerequisite, then you know what kind of stuff they're gonna do. And
Mm-hmm.
so like gear, like you didn't know, like you asked a while ago, it does have essential and certain perks. So if I see someone with this helm or this cloak or whatever have you, then I could be like, oh well, he's gonna do this, or like he likes to play like this. So
Ban it PvP then. Just don't
yeah,
allow.
that's
Just remove it from PvP. Simple, easy peasy. Then everyone can still be beautiful snowflakes.
yeah. Because it is weird, like when you go to their social area and you just see everyone, like everyone looks the same, just
Yeah,
everyone.
but I mean, well, I
But
had that problem for a long time.
yeah,
But
that's
I mean, like Diablo's got transmogs in it.
yeah.
A lot of games have that shit in it. You know, I mean, that's like that's the one microtransaction everyone's cool with is like letting me pay so I can look the way I fucking want to look.
Yeah, I'm a proponent. Like I'll pay for cosmetics. Like I really don't have a problem with that. But that's enough Destiny talk, I guess. We got that out of the way first.
Yeah.
It's pretty relevant too since it just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
But is there anything else? I mean, like what else do you want to bring up? We've been kind of absent for a little bit.
I mean, like, you know, the hype train is getting up there for Witcher 3 for me. It's
I actually just started Witcher 2 today. Like I'm gonna do a replay.
I've thought about it. I was watching a Co-Carnage stream. He's doing a big Witcher thing build up to Witcher 3, and he started back from Witcher 1. I don't think I could ever play Witcher 1.
No, I loaded it up and played for like 1 hour one time, and it was just the combat system is not good.
Well, that in the game looks awful. Like, you know, I'm not someone that needs all my games to look like the older 1886, but like to me, Witcher 1 looks terrible. It looks just not visually appealing, and like
The Witcher 2,
character models just look strange, and dialogue just looks really weird in that game.
The Witcher 2 actually doesn't age fantastically. I'm probably gonna install a mod or two to upgrade the textures, but I'm playing that game for the story and the lore. Like it's our favorite game. I'm pretty sure. Like it's one of my favorite games of all time. And yes,
Oh yeah,
hype, son, for Witcher 3.
it's like we talked about it, like I'm not going to get The Witcher 3 at launch just because I'm afraid it will have detrimental impact onto my real life goals. The timing's just bad for a game that because it's weird. Sometimes a very heavily story-driven game like that, I would just try and mainline the story as fast as possible. Like Mass Effect is also big. It's a series we're also both like huge fans of, and while Mass Effect 1, I kind of took it slow and I really explored. Mass Effect 2, like I started to get like a little anxious at the end and it got to a point where it's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and like, I know this is the end, but I'm just going to go ahead and go. Mass Effect 3, I gave no shits about anything on the side until I found, except for the very end where, because they had that bullshit system with the, like trying to get your fleet up to a certain level So I like kind of like dabbled in that a little bit. But for the most part, I was just like I wanted to fucking just see where it was going. Um, and so like I traditionally do that, but like The Witcher 3, if the hype can be believed and everything they have said about that game can be believed up to this point, I I feel like I could play that game for like 10 months and not complete it if I didn't like play it for 8 hours a day. If I just played it casually for like a few hours every day, I feel like I could play that for a long, long time without really touching it. And it's also almost to the point where like I feel like it would almost like give me anxiety. Because a big thing. Yeah, and they even talk about it if you've watched the GameStop stuff, or not GameStop's GameSpot pieces on it. They made a very good point where, like, if you'll see, like, okay, this is going to be a big major, like, main quest line item. I'm just going to push that to the side for the second and ignore it, and I'm just going to complete everything in this area before I go on to it.
I have not finished that particular video series yet, but like, is there any way that they're going to counteract over leveling? Because that was a big thing in Dragon Age and most RPGs is like you get over leveled, and then when you do the main story missions, you just wreck everything.
So
have they brought that up any?
Not directly to that point, but they did say. So in this game, they're going to have MMO style quests, and what that means for anyone that hasn't played an MMO is quests are locked off until you're a certain level, or you can see a quest, but it will say, "Hey, you're level 7. This is a level 35 quest. You might not want to do it." So they're going to have that style of quest system in place, and they go all the way up to level 50, I think is what they said. And currently, the cap in Witcher 3, I believe, is going to be level 60. So it doesn't sound like it.
Well, I know two ways that developers kind of handle this. Is like the Oblivion way, which is probably the most famous way.
The worst
yeah,
way.
Which is like just everything levels up with you. And then like Dragon Age Inquisition, if you did everything in that first area, which I think was like the hinterlands, then the rest of the game completely overpowered. It's I mean completely. You're just overpowered. You just blaze through everything. So.
Well, and there's a third way to do it. I don't know that many games do it like this, but you can think of it as like Dark Souls or Bloodborne. So you can be level 55 in Bloodborne. Go back to the first area, and it'll be easier. It'll certainly be easier. But if you like are playing like shit, it will still kill you really quickly. So that's the way to do it. They have I haven't heard that talked about or addressed at all. But they did mention that the game's really fucking hard if you don't play it on easy. They're like, and even on normal, it's like really, really hard game. Even though a lot of the gameplay that they show doesn't reflect that.
Well, I mean, I'm super hyped. We're like 3 weeks out. I'm excited for it. Like, I think that one of the developers said he speed ran it, and this is like oxymoron, air quotes. He speed ran it in
25 hours.
Yeah, and so
yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing it and then setting it aside, and then next year replaying it and getting a totally different experience. And it's just like, I think we've talked about that before. Is like the developers have said statistically you can probably get the same experience, but probably you're never going to get the same experience twice playing it. And so that's awesome in my opinion. Like, that is fantastic.
Yeah, and some people have complained about it, but I really kind of like the idea of there being such a complex system under the hood that you can't really see the impact that some of the like there's things, if they can be believed, that will affect the main story just by the order you do them in. Not even like if you didn't do it or you made a choice to do it this way versus like just by like neglecting to go and take care of something immediately and then coming back to it later will have consequences, which is just insane. You know, you really just don't see that level of detail. Again, you know, game's not out, so you only take so much for face value. But yeah, it's sounding really good. You know.
Yeah, and this video series that we're kind of talking about is GameSpot's. You can find on their website. It's by Danny O'Dwyer, who I like a lot. And one cool thing in the video series that they brought up, which I never even noticed, and I'm gonna bring it up. I know you watched it, so you know, which was like a year ago at E3 or 2 years ago. It was The Witcher with the number 3, the Wild Hunt.
That was a neat little point.
And
I
then
hadn't noticed.
yeah, and then now it's The Witcher Wild Hunt underneath it with like a claw that says 3. So if I look at it as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but like one of the developers was like, yeah, it's kind of made to look like a claw, so we didn't want to like block ourselves off and have people think that they had to play 1 and 2 to play this game. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was pretty neat because I never noticed it. I never noticed it.
Yeah, it didn't dawn on me. But again, it's because you know we both played prior Witcher game, and we only see this as Witcher 3.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a cool, like, neat little marketing trick they use to just say, nah, it's just, you know, Witcher Wild Hunt. Come play it. You don't need to play those other games. Although you should probably play Witcher 2.
It's so good. But yeah, I see a lot of games doing that now. You know, like which I think we'll talk about: Deus Ex, Mankind, Divided, Assassin's Creed, Unity. It's not Assassin's Creed 5.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, all these games that are like
had the same marketing firm.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So you know, we bring up Deus Ex. I guess we can kind of go into that. I remember in college you getting hyped for Human Revolution. Yes. And you like this was going to change the world. This game.
I don't know. I feel like words would be put in my mouth with that statement. I was excited for it. I will agree.
And I have yet to play it. And
I did pre-order the game and have maybe put 33 minutes into that game since I bought it. When I pre-ordered it, because of the TF2 cosmetic items.
Yeah. I distinctly remember just like you being real excited for it. And yeah, I don't really remember you playing it that much.
Yeah, because I didn't.
And I'm pretty sure you talked me into buying it. I was playing on Xbox at the time, and you were like, you should buy this game and play it. And I think I put 20 minutes into it. And but the whole marketing of Mankind Divided, did you like it? Did you pay attention?
Are you referring to the Twitch stream?
Yeah, and all that stuff that they did surrounding it.
Because I tuned into the Twitch stream they had going on, and I don't know, I never caught like anything exciting. Like I just turned to it, and it was probably like 12 minutes of a dude doing push-ups in a prison cell. I was like, well, fuck this. This is boring as shit.
I never tuned into it.
I know this is for Deus Ex. I just want to fucking see some Deus Ex shit. So that part of it, no, I didn't. You know,
I did watch.
I felt like Twitch plays Pokemon because it was like someone changed the camera angle, so now I can see the ass of this guy that I'm watching do push-ups in a prison cell. It's like great. Now the trailer.
Yeah, I watched the cinematic. It's cool with it's a cinematic. Do you think? Well, obviously, it's going to be this year. You think it's coming out this year? I don't think they
probably. I would say probably.
Also, I wanted to bring up, why did they do all of this? And E3 is so close. Like, you just think
Well,
they wanted.
You show the trailer now and you get people excited for it and get it on the radar, and then hopefully we see gameplay at E3.
Okay.
That's always my biggest complaint about E3 is
Yeah.
we see all these
hype content,
and then we don't actually see, even if it, it's not great, but even if I got to see 4 chodes on stage, obviously reading from a script, playing whatever the fuck that Ubisoft game is that hasn't come out yet.
Rainbow Six Siege or something?
No, the Division.
Oh, the Division.
Yeah, where it's it's like this crew of people that are obviously like.
Yeah, they're sitting there.
Rehearsed
They're sitting there talking. I got your 6.
At least that is gameplay.
Yeah.
So even if it's something like that, if it's a vertical slice, at least that's something versus like just a cinematic trailer, which was fucking awesome. And I it's like, I wish you would just like make a cinematic movie with this stuff, which would be really cool. But to that note, as someone who's not really like a huge fan of that franchise, one of the things people really enjoy about that game is the stealth aspect of it. So you don't have to go out and kill everyone and all that stuff. That CGI trailer was...
Oh, it was complete badass mode.
It was Adam Jensen just wrecking things.
Yeah.
So the devs came out later. I think it's the devs. Someone came out later on Twitter from Squeenix or the Montreal studio and was like, hey, just so you know, you can actually ghost every aspect of this game, including bosses. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Well, no, I heard that, and then I heard a backlash of that. That's what they said about Human Revolution, and you can stealth everything in that game, but I heard that there were some bosses where you can't do that in Human Revolution, and so that's got a lot of people like, well, is this going to be the same way? Again, never played Human Revolution. Don't know if I ever will. But
I don't remember. I remember like stealth was still the strongest aspect of Human Revolution.
But I did see.
I don't remember them ever coming out and saying, "Hey, you can literally skip bosses through stealth." But I would hope if they came out and said, "Hey, you can ghost every boss in this game," then you can ghost every boss in this game.
I do. I mean, I like the fact that you can be a badass or be stealth. Just like I'm gonna bring up kind of an old game, which I hope to see at E3, which is Dishonored, and it's got the same thing. You can be a complete badass, or you can stealth through the whole game. And I like that they give you these options, and so you don't have to be. You can do one or the other, and so
I think they still got to get the balance down. Like, and from what I've heard, again, I haven't played it, but Human Revolution had the same problem that Dishonored had, where well, actually, it was the opposite problem. Dishonored had the problem where the guns blazing.
It was too easy.
Super fun.
Yeah, too easy.
And was just like you just like wreck shit, and that was in spite of them building in a system to make the game harder if you did it that route, and they just like made that aspect like too easy. And Human Revolution had the similar problem, but it was on the opposite side, where the stealth aspect was just fundamentally better than doing the guns blazing around. You got more XP from doing it that way. You just were able to progress quicker in the game because of that. So they're still like trying to get a balance between the two. I think it's also, Deus Ex traditionally is kind of like more of a stealth-oriented game as a franchise, but they have still had the action side to it. And while Dishonored, that's one game, it kind of hinted at it was going to be more of a thief stealth-esque game,
Yeah.
and just have this like, no, you can just be fucking Rambo and just like juggernaut through this game. So, but yeah, I think just talking about Dishonored. Sounds like Dishonored 2 is getting announced for E3.
For sure.
As well as Evil Within 2, which is hilarious.
Evil Within 2, 3, and 4.
No Fallout 4. No Fallout 4.
Again, we've had this discussion, but that would be absolutely amazing because that's what everyone expects.
Yeah, everyone wants Evil Within 2. I don't know if you've heard. That's the game everyone wants. But I just thought that was funny when I heard that. Yeah. So Deus Ex is a thing.
Yeah. Chalk it up. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people are excited. I don't think we're among those.
I'll wait and see. I just like, well, yeah, the shooting in that game like turned me off immediately. That's why I never played it.
Yes. Other stuff that we kind of missed was a bunch of Nintendo stuff. They got their DNA service, which is going to be their mobile platform, and then they had the whole fiasco of the YouTube copyright stuff. I just kind of want to hint on that and just say that we talked about it just because whatever. But their DNA service, their mobile platform, I read some report where they're expecting $25 million monthly income. That's absurd, in my opinion.
That is ridiculous.
And so, yeah, that's absolutely absurd. I'm glad that they're bringing that stuff to mobile because I think their style of games fits mobile very well.
I do think, like, if Nintendo was like, we're going to take one of our IPs and we're going to make a game specifically for mobile, not a port. We're going to build a game from the ground up for mobile. I think they're one of the few companies that could make one that would actually play enjoyably because they're one of the few companies that have been exploring these weird, like, different types of way to play games beyond just like using a controller or using an analog stick. Like touch and motion and using a camera and all this weird stuff is stuff they've been trying to put in their main games for a few years now. So I think they definitely have the potential to do something pretty cool. And I've heard because DNA is a mobile developer.
Yeah, and that's who they partnered up with.
And they seem to. I've heard they kind of like will have a bad one here and there, but if they're just kind of like helping with the nitty gritty of putting something on mobile and Nintendo's retaining most of the creative direction on it, I think there's some good stuff that can come out of it.
Well, let me pose this. Do you think they will be so? I mean, how to phrase it. The reason why they maybe haven't put it on mobile yet is because obviously in Japan, the DS is huge. Most of the people over there play portable games, and so the reason that they don't bring it to mobile is because maybe they're going to limit themselves on hardware DS sales. Do you think maybe that factors into it at all?
Well, I think that's why they will probably not focus on doing ports, but do games that will only be on that platform. Again, you're not going to get a Fire Emblem on your phone. You're just not. You're not going to get that experience. I would be very surprised if they put that level of game in there.
I'm
something like a little.
Asking for one thing.
Bulkier.
Pokemon, and they have this, but a Pokemon trading card game, but officially sanctioned by Nintendo. Like, yeah, but it's not sanctioned by Nintendo, is it?
Yeah, they have a Pokemon card
Yes,
game
it's TGAC, right? TGC. But I thought it wasn't sanctioned by Nintendo, and it was kind of shit. I could be completely wrong.
No, there's an actual, like, it is a legit Pokemon card game on there.
I have to look at it again.
I think, maybe it's not true anymore, but I think at one time you had to own the cards in real life in order to play them on your mobile device.
Yeah, I looked up one game. a while ago, and it had such bad ratings that I didn't think it was by Nintendo or affiliated with Nintendo. But maybe that's the reason why.
The actual Pokemon trading card game is on mobile.
Well, all right. So they're doing that. They're not going to make $25 million a month, but
that's. I would like to see where they got those numbers
yeah.
from.
And the other thing is their YouTube policies, which was already bad, and then it got super worse, and then they kind of dialed it down a little bit. But they just don't understand that community or that type of marketing.
Well, they're basically asking people to be an employee of Nintendo.
It's ridiculous.
It's basically what they're saying is if you want to make YouTube videos using our games, then you basically have to be an employee of ours. Because, the crazy thing is they don't take money from, well, if you do the program. I guess if you don't do the program and your videos get flagged, then they just flag the revenue from that video. But if you actually go through their program, they're not taking revenue from your Nintendo videos. They're taking revenue from your channel.
Yeah, well, they actually amended that. But
did they?
Yeah, but it's still
was
ridiculous. But now it's you either have to make a new channel, or most people are just not going to do the program anymore because they just won't do Nintendo videos. But yeah, originally it was, if you want to be affiliated with us, do the program, and then we're going to take a cut of everything, and which is absolutely ridiculous.
Which I don't even know that they could legally do that.
Well, yeah, I don't think they can, because that's when they came back and
because then they're essentially monetizing content that doesn't belong to them in any way.
And so then they came back and said you either need to delete all the non-Nintendo videos on your channel or make a new channel that either does only Nintendo or only non-Nintendo. And so you have people like Total Biscuit, Angry Joe, Jim Sterling, who just like, I'm not going to do any more Nintendo videos. And so they just don't get this community, or this way of life. And for a company that struggles on hardware sales, like the Wii U is still obviously not selling very well. You think they would kind of hit on like, well, make videos about Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. Like, get the word out there. Like, it's a good console. You own one. And it's
weird because they don't get it, but then they do, because like they do the Nintendo Direct things regularly, which is just an online broadcasting of their games, and they're way more informative than any like E3 event you ever see. It's just crazy that they're at one end so progressive and like trying to move forward, like because they come out with these crazy consoles and these crazy ideas that everyone's like, that's fucking terrible. And
then you have the Kinect and the Sony Move.
Like shit ton of like devices, even though everyone's like weird. And I won't rant on it too long, but if they had just called the Wii U the Wii 2, it would have been fine. It would have been fine. It would have been fine.
I don't know who they went through the marketing where they were just like, Wii U sold, done.
So many people thought it was a controller.
Yeah.
So many people thought
I was one of them. I was like, oh,
it was a console.
Yeah, are they just selling the gamepad?
So it's just so weird. Like Nintendo, it's like Jim Sterling has a funny thing where he just says like, oh, they just Ubisofted up, and it's like, and it's like Nintendo's the same way. It's like they just Nintendo things up sometimes. It's just, I don't know. They've got there must be some real divides in the executive management of that company. Well, that, and I think it's too like you've got the Western side here in America, and you've got like the Japanese side, and they also probably have very different views on how to run that company. And
I actually saw
you see such weird
a sort of similar topic, because I saw a pretty good like explanation and like breakdown of Monster Hunter 4, Like, because from all intents and purposes, I think that was kind of like Nintendo was expecting that to really bridge the gap between like America and Japanese like people. Like that game was going to sell really well, and it sold really well. But here in America, we just don't get it. Like that game is sold super well in Japan. That's because it's a very social game, and the Japanese are very social people when it comes to gaming. And so over here, it's just like people don't do that, and plus we don't do portable gaming to that degree as they do.
Yeah, like, and that's another thing is like they only released it on 3DS,
Yeah.
which if you've played Monster Hunter on the 3DS, it's not the most fun game in the world unless you have the
The new one.
detachable joystick, or you have the new 3DS, which is another just
Terrible name.
What a Nintendo name.
Yeah.
So we're going to be six like Game Boys into the future, and that one's still going to be called the new 3DS.
Oh yeah. The new one will be like the new Cube 3DS.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
You know?
Like what's
it would be great is if I could just see like a decade from now, Nintendo's still producing the new 3DS, but they've come out with several generations past that, and so they just rebrand it as the old 3DS, just to make sure that it's not confusing to anyone. Because they don't want anyone to be confused about the 3DS and the new 3DS. We'll just call it the new 3DS.
Yeah. Well, and then the next Wii will be the Wii Y. Why'd you do this? It's a good joke. It's a good joke. It's funny. Yeah, terrible. They make good games though. God damn it.
Yeah, I still want them to do well, and I want them to be relevant. But fuck, they make it so hard sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're on the home stretch here. So, kind of wrap up like some things that have been released. See if I got anything wrong. The major ones was Mortal Kombat X, GTA 5 for PC, City Skylines. I don't think we ever covered, and
yeah, but that game's been out for too long at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I bought it and I played it, and it's a lot of fun. It's like real good. Like I like it a lot. And huh?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good. I like. You. I know you're gonna buy it at some point. We can build it.
Oh yeah, I definitely play it at some point.
But does anything else came out? Because there's one thing I wanted to talk about with Mortal Kombat that I found pretty atrocious.
Hilarious, but I don't like the Assassin's Creed China game.
Oh yes!
Out of nowhere,
dude.
Out of nowhere. Hadn't not heard anything about it, and then it was like, oh, there's an Assassin's Creed game out. I was like, what?
I am actually like, kind of want to play that game.
Oh, and so here's the thing: is like, it's so strange. So first of all, it's like this game came out. I don't know that anyone had it on the radar.
Well, they actually announced it at the beginning of April, and I did realize it that it was coming out. But yeah,
it's still that's
yeah. They just dropped it
less than a month ago.
Yeah, they just dropped it at the beginning of April.
They just were like, hey, we got an Assassin's Creed game coming out, and it's a side-scrolling like.
Yeah, it's like 2.5D. Yeah.
Yeah, and with a beautiful art style.
Yeah, watercolor backgrounds and art style.
Like it looks really good. I have heard that like it's got some kind of game-breaking technical issues.
I haven't heard that.
It's shocking,
Well, yeah, but I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I've heard it's got some real issues technically speaking, but otherwise it's like a really solid game, and it's a lot of people are comparing it to Mark of the Ninja, which is good company to be compared to, because that's a fucking great game.
Yeah. And
that was so.
Yeah, they're actually coming out with it's a trilogy, and I don't know if they're all coming out this year, but it's they're doing this is China, right? And then they're doing India and Russia. I think that's the other two, and so they're going to be the same.
All gonna be in style.
Yeah, and they all have like an overarching story, and so yeah, I actually like kind of want to play that game.
It's just so.
Like, I don't know who developed that game. If it was like, I know it wasn't the
I
regular
wonder if it was
developers.
I wonder if it was like the Child of Light.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because Child of Light, I'll stand by to the day I die, is a tremendous game. And yeah, that came out though. So yeah, I actually want to play that. And Mortal Kombat X though. Have you heard about the DLC?
So I've heard two hilarious things about it, and the one I want to talk about first is so to play that game when it came out, they tried to do what Blizzard does with their games, where you stream download the game, and if you're trying to play a part of the game that you don't have, it'll just stream it to you as it's installing. So you might have some issues, but you can still go ahead and play the game, still waiting for like a 30 gig download to finish. It's a nice feature. I never use it because I would just rather wait.
Yeah, same here.
Down. But still, it's certainly not anything to complain about. Well, they tried to put that same system into the Mortal Kombat game and fucked it up. Like some people, like TV put out a video about this where like he only had access to like the training of that game after downloading like 30 gigs. And then he looked and he had like 47 DLC packs to download in addition to it, which was the rest of the game. So it's just like they tried this new system. I don't know if it was NetherRealm or Warner Brothers or Steam maybe who like put this new like stream download system in, and it just did not work and left that game unplayable for some people for a little bit. And apparently the online in that game is also very
Is like the matchmaking kind of bad?
I mean, fighting games traditionally have pretty poor online anyways. I've just heard like it's really hard to get a game together with people.
Well, what's the second thing that
the thing I'm sure you're hinting on is the fatality.
Dude, ridiculous. I think that is awful.
It is awful, but it's also, I don't know, like they're fatalities. You're paying. It's not like the fatalities aren't in the game. It's just if you can't be bothered to learn the combination for the fatalities, you can pay money so you can do it like once. I mean the insult to injury, they're consumable, so it's like you have to keep paying money.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So you don't even like get it. You only get
that makes it even worse.
Yeah, you only get the privilege to use it like once or twice before you have to pay money again. That's the real hilarious part.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I just wanted to bring up like that's what I wanted to talk about was like it's just a sign, and I know a lot of people play that game is for the fatalities because they're just brutal and awesome to watch.
Yeah, and so that's why I can kind of.
Well, I just wanted to, if they would have done this 4 months down the road, 6 months, where they're just like, hey, before I came up with this conclusion or whatever, I didn't know that you had to keep buying them. Oh, that's 1 hour, so we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. But if they just came out like 6 months and they're just like, hey, you've been playing the game, you know how to do the fatalities, good on you. Here's $5 to get all the fatalities for easy combination. I'd have no problem with that. That's fine. But like, I'm pretty sure it was a day one release, and it makes it even worse that it's a consumable and you have to keep purchasing them. I find that ridiculous. That's just retarded in my mind.
I did hear some other shady shit that. So like, I think reviewers were aware of that when they got their copies ahead of time, but when the game actually released, because you can earn those coins in the crypt as well.
Yeah.
But as soon as the game came out, they patched it so it was a lot harder to get those coins in the crypt.
Mm.
So they that's like that's the one fear we all have about microtransactions, no matter what the good intentions are behind them. Sometimes is you're putting microtransactions in this game, so how do I know you haven't deliberately fucked something up within the base game to try and encourage me to pay for something outside, pay for these microtransactions? And they clearly, not only did they do that, but they kept it from reviewers until the game actually came out.
Yeah, that's just like didn't Assassin's Creed do that?
Assassin's Creed just straight up, they just straight up broke the microtransactions.
Well, they blocked it from reviewers, and then when the game released,
that's what I'm saying. They just completely blocked them out. Like, this stuff was available to reviewers, and then they just changed it after the game actually released.
Yeah. But and then another complaint is and you've seen, this is the third time this year I've heard about it, is like the convoluted DLC. And so, like, Evolve had just the worst. There's so many additions, all this DLC, and then even worse on top of that was Dead or Alive, and I watched a couple videos on that, and the DLC was just where to even begin. And then this one was another one where it's just so much DLC, which pre-order bonus did you have, which all of this did you have, and it was just a jumbled mess. And I want to get away from that. You have your GameStop edition, your Walmart, your Best Buy, your Target.
That stuff is pretty infuriating. Because, it's only a matter of time before... And, we see it with the consoles as well. Like PS4 Destiny players.
Yeah.
They get content that's only available to them, which is just... that's just... Witcher 3 now going to have branching storylines that you can only see on PS4 or Xbox One,
I don't mind games partnering up if they do cosmetics or something like The Witcher 3 partnered up with Xbox, and if you order the collector's edition, you get a physical map and something else, but there's nothing in the game that changes. And so but all this stuff Evolve, I'm not 100% sure, but if you pre-ordered with this company, did you get a new skin pack or something like that, or a new weapon pack?
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. I just want to get away from this. Let's just all buy the same game and be done with it. That's my little rant on that.
It's annoying.
But I've heard that Mortal Kombat is a good fighting game.
Yeah, I've watched some streaming of it.
Yeah, I watched a tournament on Twitch the other day, and it was it looks fun. I'll never buy it. I probably won't ever play it, but
I'll definitely play it. Test your luck is just too much fun in those games.
I heard that was kind of broken, actually.
Test your luck?
Not broken, but maybe you don't earn a currency or something. I think
I don't care if I earn a currency. I just want to play Test Your Luck.
Yeah, but something was wrong with it. Dan Reichert.
Jax.
Yeah, I think Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb was saying something that it was kind of broken. I might be misquoting him, but because he's really big into fighting games. But yeah, so the thing I wanted to kind of talk about, which we're going to wrap up right now, but GTA 5 launched on PC. I bought it, been playing it this past week. It's tremendous fun. I'm so glad that I waited to play it on the best possible console, if you will, platform. It's not broken. It runs very well. I get a very constant 60 frames per second on running on high settings with my rig, my settings. And it's a good port. Or it's not even a port. They completely rebuilt it. And so
I have heard the Rockstar launcher is a little janky.
The loading times, we talk about Bloodborne. When you play GTA Online and you go do something and then you get back to put on that server or whatever, it's a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes. It takes forever.
I've heard it's still got its technical hiccups here and there.
Yeah, and I've heard that there are some things in the mission where if you some people are complaining that if you don't throw a grenade at this certain point, then the mission fails to launch or something. I never ran into any of that. The game I played completely through the campaign. It ran smoothly, never crashed a desktop. I did run into a lot of places, especially during the day when the shadows are very high and there's a lot of shadows. My frame rate will drop pretty dramatically to 20 to 30 frames for a couple seconds, especially when you're driving and you're just going like balls to the wall down the road. The frame rate can dip a good bit, but as far as past Rockstar day one releases, this is by far the best they've ever had.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun. I'm glad I waited to play it. I never got spoiled on it. The campaign is completely worth the $60 price. It's a solid 30 to 40 hours if you just kind of take your time and enjoy the world that you're in. And GTA Online, super fun. Me and a buddy of ours have done a heist. It's a lot of fun. So,
have you used the FPS mode in it?
The first person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used it a good bit. The field of view is pretty like sickening. Like it's just not really fun to play. Usually the only time. Go ahead.
Just because so many people were like, it sounded like such a cool thing to put into the game, and people were so excited for it. And then because I watched some streams of it, and like my roommate plays it a lot, and no one seems to play it in first person mode. And I'm just kind of like,
yeah,
if we went into that,
it's kind of
for no one to.
And I think there's a mod now that will increase the FOV, but it's only for the campaign, and so you can't. Or they advise you not to use it in GTA Online, and so I don't know how that'll work. But the way the game works and the shooting in that game is not great, because I think it's a conscious effort on Rockstar's, because like these guys are not trained professionals with precision sight. It's a little janky. And so when you do that in first person, it is a little jarring. When you're used to playing something like, I play Battlefield a lot or something like that, it's very precision-based shooter. And this is very, very janky and stuff like that. So like, and plus the very limited field of view in it, it does make you a little nauseous. But I do use first person when I just run up to somebody, because it effortlessly. You press V, you go to third person out a little bit more, and then first person, effortlessly. And so if I'm running up to somebody, if I'm about to get in a fist fight, I go to first person because it's hilarious.
Because I really have no interest to play that game. I have no desire. I've never been into the GTA franchise. I think it's partly to do because of the fact that you're just fucking like in a normal, in a normal world, in a normal city, playing as like Joe Schmo, except you just break the law, and I don't want to play that game.
I mean, I see the complaint.
But if I was to play those games, I would probably want to play it in first person all the time if I could. But it just doesn't seem like anyone prefers it.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't after you like sit there and play it. I'm
not a big fan of driving, and those games have a lot of driving.
I wasn't. Now, like, the first kind of game that I played on my PC was Watch Dogs, and it didn't help that the driving in that game was atrocious. And so they handled this a lot better. And then the driving into this game, it still took me a little bit to get caught up. And another complaint about the game is that, like, yeah, it's a 30-hour, 40-hour campaign. Half of that is driving. And so you have to be kind of decent at that.
I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So, again, that's why I don't, care to play those games that much. And I also don't care to go into my house and take a shower in a video game.
It's pretty realistic. It's fun, though. I had a lot of fun playing it this week. And I know that me and your roommate, one of our friends, we're going to be doing a lot of shit in it, or wrecking some stuff. Yeah, I liked it. It's good. It's good times.
Good.
And it has probably one of the best characters in any video game. Like, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about because you read Trevor. You know who Trevor is, the white trash guy.
The sociopath.
Yeah, dude. He's so funny, dude. He's so good. They wrote him perfect.
It's so funny to hear you say that because I there's a real divide on what people think about the main characters in that game. Some people think they're three very unlikable, poorly written characters that have no no like substance to them whatsoever. And a lot of people really find Trevor hilarious because he is such a horrible,
Yeah, I
horrible
mean,
human
that's
being.
the way they wrote him. Like, I don't get the complaint that he wasn't wrote well. Like, that's the way they write him. Like, the only character I can see a divide on would be like the other is Michael, which is kind of your morally ambiguous person. He does wrong stuff and right stuff, and so,
Yeah.
but and a side character of that game, which is Lamar. It's one of like Franklin's friend, the black dude. He's hilarious.
Is that the guy that gets in an argument with him over being employee of the month?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, he's so funny. I loved everything about that game. I really liked it. All right, SIPcast number 4. We're done. Hey, this is Cyrus Amory 51 in the flesh. Well, I guess in the voice, but it doesn't sound as good as in the flesh. But we're going to keep on rolling. I'm here. Why don't you click that subscribe button while you're here? Click it. I know you want to click it. Your mom wants you to click it. Your dad wants you to click it. Your friends want you to click it. Probably your sweet, sweet grandmother wants you to click it. So click it. It could be the most important thing you do today, maybe the week, maybe the whole year, and maybe, just maybe your whole life. So click that goddamn subscribe button. Appreciate it, guys.